Tax filing for married couples in USA, jointly or separately. Key considerations for 2024. If you're blissfully married but still uncertain about how to determine your filing status for IRS tax forms, fear not. Understanding your options is essential for optimizing your tax strategy. Considerations such as living arrangements, emotional dynamics, income disparities, lifestyle preferences, and family obligations all play key roles in deciding whether to choose married filing jointly or married filing separately. Each filing status offers unique benefits, so making an informed decision ensures you maximize tax advantages while simplifying your filing process effectively. Here are some key points to know about each filing status. Aspect married filing jointly, MFJ, married filing separately, MFS. Eligibility legally married under the law as on December 31st of the relevant tax year. Legally married under the law as on December 31st of the relevant tax year. There is the possibility of living apart for any period during the year. Standard deduction benefits from double standard deduction amounting to $27,700. Standard deduction is limited to $13,850. Tax brackets: taxable income becomes more advantageous starting at $22,000. Taxable income becomes less advantageous starting at $11,000. Tax credits benefit from tax credits such as A. Earned income tax credit. B. Adoption credit. C. Child and dependent care credit. D. American Opportunity and Lifetime Learning Credit, PAWS Medium. Several tax credits and deductions available to married filing jointly, MFJ, are either limited or not automatically available to those filing married filing separately, MFS. Significant medical expenses combined income may make it harder to meet the deductible threshold, potentially limiting deductible medical expenses. Allows deduction of expenses exceeding 7.5% of individual AGI, potentially increasing deductible amount. State taxes typically leads to lower tax liability when taxes are filed jointly. May lead to increased tax obligations due to varying high tax rates among states. Responsibility: it's a joint responsibility of taxes and information. Each spouse is responsible for their own taxes and information. What are the tax brackets for 2023 in USA? A. Married filing jointly. 10% $0 to $22,000, 12% $22,001 to $89,450, 22% $89,451 to $190,750, 24% $190,751 to $364,200, 32% $364,201 to $462,500, 35% $462,501 to $693,750, 37% $693,751, and above. B. Married filing separately. 10% $0 to $11,000, 12% $11,001 to $44,725, 22% $44,726 to $95,375, 24% $95,376 to $182,100, 32% $182,101 to $231,250, 35% $231,251 to $346,875, 37% $346,876, and above. What tax credits are beneficial for individuals filing jointly? 1. Earned income tax credit. This credit is for individuals and families that generate a low to moderate income. It primarily tries to offset the burden of Social Security taxes on such individuals as well, providing a work incentive. This credit only applies to U.S. citizens and resident aliens with a valid SSN. 2. Adoption credit. This credit applies to the adoption of a child under 18 years old or a disabled individual. The adopted child cannot be a surrogate or a child of either spouse. The credit is available for both domestic and foreign adoptions, with specific timing limitations applying to foreign adoptions. 3. Dependent and childcare credit. This credit is available to individuals who are gainfully employed or actively seeking work. It applies when the individual has a dependent under 13 years old or a disabled dependent in their care. Specific criteria and limits determine the final tax credit amount claimed by spouses on their tax return. 4. American Opportunity and Lifetime Learning Credit. The American Opportunity Tax Credit, AOTC, provides a credit for qualified education expenses paid during the first 4 years of higher education for an eligible student attending an eligible educational institution, whether domestic or foreign. The Lifetime Learning Credit, LLC, covers tuition and related expenses for eligible students pursuing various educational opportunities, including job skills improvement, with no limit on the number of years it can be claimed, providing up to $2,000 per tax return. How does the choice between standard deduction and itemized deductions in married filing separately affect both spouses? In case of married filing separately, choosing between the standard deduction and itemized deductions is critical for both spouses, as the decision made by one usually applies to the other on separate tax returns. It's important to note that when individuals file separately and choose itemized deductions, they must carefully determine how to allocate deductible expenses across their individual tax returns. Can married couples change from filing separately to jointly after initially filing their taxes separately? Married couples have the flexibility to choose between filing separately or jointly from year to year based on their tax situation. If they initially file separately, they can amend their tax return later to switch to a joint filing status. However, once a joint tax return has been filed, it cannot be amended to change to separate filing statuses in subsequent amendments. Filing separately can offer a clear financial division for couples who prefer or need to keep their financial matters distinct, particularly in situations such as preparing for a divorce. What advantages does the medical expense deduction offer to married couples filing separately? Filing separately for medical expense deductions can be advantageous if one spouse has substantial out-of-pocket medical expenses. This is because the deduction threshold, set at 7.5% of adjusted gross income (AGI), is applied individually. Thus, with lower individual AGI thresholds, each spouse may be more likely to exceed this limit and claim a higher deductible amount for medical expenses. Still unsure about married filing jointly and married filing separately? Don't worry, we're here to provide expert guidance. At 𝗬𝗏, we thoroughly assess your unique situation to ensure you choose the optimal filing path. Our expertise simplifies the complexities of tax credits and deductions. Each tax credit and deduction have its own specific criteria and conditions that must be met. Therefore, to understand the exact provisions, reach out to us. We can help you navigate their limits and applicability with clarity. Contact us today to maximize your refund and confidently select the tax benefits that align perfectly with your financial goals.